Marketing is one of my favorite fields, so much so that it is what I got my degree in nearly a decade ago. And since then, it's presented me with a lot of great opportunities and really set the stage for the success I've had in my career. And what's great about marketing is that there are many elements to it such that you have a wide range of career paths you can take. Not only that, the opportunity to earn a good salary is plentiful here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 highest paying marketing jobs and add a little bit of commentary to help you better understand these roles and help you decide if these are roles that you would like to pursue. So stay tuned. Hey folks, Richard Walls here, helping you with career development and personal finance. If during this video you decide you like what you see and you want to see more content like this, do make sure to hit the subscribe button down below along with the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new content. And while you're down there, you might as well go ahead and also hit that like button. It helps out my channel quite a bit. So with that said, let's get to it. Now, as I go through this list, one thing I do want you to keep in mind is that as you watch this video and other videos like this talking about a top whatever highest salary jobs, that salary really is dependent on many factors, not just the job title by itself, but also your work experience, your education, the industry, and the company. So the list I'll be using, I'll be leveraging from an article that I read on themuse.com that lists the top 8 highest paying marketing jobs. And they in turn pulled their data from a website called payscale.com, which is another great resource. And in using this list, I'm going to add a lot of commentary from my experiences having been in the marketing field in one capacity or another in different points in my career. And just a quick note, I'm doing my top 5. This is 8. However, there are 3 that I'm leaving out because either they're not what I would consider true marketing in the traditional sense. One of them is a little bit more communications focused, more PR focused, and the other 2 are similar enough to one or two of the other roles that I didn't think it was all that interesting to talk through. So we'll be leaving some out. To start us off, let's talk about number 5 on the list, which is brand marketing manager. Also may be defined as just brand manager, but really what this role focuses on is on the brand tenets and making sure those brand tenets are marketed effectively across various communications, both internally and externally. And not just that, but also making sure that those tenets are visible or apparent in some form or fashion in all the content or whatever assets that the company is putting out. So you may start off here thinking about a company's mission statement, which is what is the brand about? One quick example that comes to mind is Tesla. And their mission statement is something to the effect of, we are looking to build a sustainable future with renewable energy. And we do that, of course, through electric vehicles, solar panels, and energy storage. In addition to this, they've also built a reputation and really a brand around minimalist, elegant, and innovative design. And where do you see this? Well, of course, you see it in the vehicles themselves. Most importantly, that is what communicates the brand most effectively because that's the product that people are using. But you also see it in the design of the website, the experience that users have when they go to a website. Again, similar to the vehicle, it's clean, it's minimalist, it's sleek and modern. And goes even further to, if you've ever watched a launch event presentation, their PowerPoint presentations are also minimalist. They have a certain font that they use that also communicates that same idea. Point being is a brand manager really is responsible for making sure that whatever the company wants to represent as far as their values and their mission, that it somehow manifests itself in various channels of communication and whatever content that the company puts out. So this role is definitely a good option if you want to exercise your creative side a little bit in marketing. Number 4 is demand generation manager. As the name suggests, you'd be responsible for putting together a plan of action to help generate demand, i.e. sales, for the company. Now, this is a little bit broad since this can be achieved in many different ways, in many different channels. But as an example, you may be asked to put together an email marketing campaign that goes out to a target set of customers that are most likely to buy. And you may also be promoting a certain product or certain set of products that you think the customer is most likely to be interested in. If they look at that email, they eventually go to whatever link that's included on there, and you've generated interest and you've generated traffic to the website. Or maybe they don't go to the website, they don't click the link that's in the email. Maybe they decide to call in to whatever specific call-in number that you provide. And again, this isn't of course limited to email. There can be many ways to reach out to customers. It could be catalog, it could be direct mailers of various sorts. But nonetheless, you're generating interest, you're generating traffic of interested customers, and hopefully you have the assets and the content and the messaging in place to convert that interested customer into a buying customer. I'd also add here that the nice thing about this role is that it's very much tied to metrics. And you have certain goals that you're trying to achieve, and you have certain actions that you're putting into place, and you get to measure the results of those actions. And this is different, of course, from perhaps other marketing roles where it's a little bit more on the creative side. It's more focused on design, for example. You don't really have metrics that you're looking at. You do have metrics down the stream, but again, nothing you can directly attribute to the actions that you're putting into place, which is what you can do in this role. Number 3 is product marketing manager. Now, I did want to clarify one point up front, which is there is a bit of a difference between product marketing manager and just product manager. Now, I say there's generally a difference, and that's generally true. There's some companies where that role is one and the same, or you're doing one role and you're expected to do a little bit more of the other role than what would ordinarily be the case. But I'll just say this, product management is more focused on the P&L statement, the profits and loss statement, and you're more involved on the business side on a day-to-day and week-by-week basis and making adjustments for the business to improve profitability or sales, or any number of metrics. As a product manager, you're expected to understand the market pretty well, what the customer's needs are, what competitors look like, and you're expected to know quite a bit and have done quite a bit of analysis. And that is also the case for product marketing managers, because those roles tend to be focused more on developing and putting together the content and the messaging around products. And of course, that requires the same understanding of the market. And once you have all that content and messaging together, that is then what gets displayed on the website or in print catalogs or mailers or just about any piece of content or asset that goes out to not only externally to the public, but also internally to sales teams that are in turn going to be pitching the product. And the ultimate goal for a product marketing manager is to create a compelling enough package, a compelling enough story so that one, you interest the audience in what you have to offer, and more importantly, you interest them enough so that they become a buying customer. This is a good role because it's a good blend of market research, analysis, as well as a little bit of creative. So you have a lot of elements of marketing included in this role, and you're focused on a specific product so that you are a subject matter expert on this one product. So having that kind of involvement with the product is a nice thing to have. Number 2 is Director of Digital Marketing. Now, I mentioned marketing as a pretty broad field. Digital marketing as a subset of marketing in and of itself is also a pretty broad and always evolving field. The fact that it is always changing does make it pretty exciting. And in this role, you're really going to be focused on the company's go-to-market efforts in online channels. And that would mean things like the website. It could be social media, search, video, online advertisements, etc. And the ultimate goal of digital marketing, like any form of marketing, is ultimately to generate sales. And the way you do that is by first generating traffic online of potentially interested customers and retaining them and getting them to make a purchase. This role, probably more so than anything I've mentioned up until this point, is likely going to be the most data-driven and analytical role out of actually most any roles in marketing, especially because of all the data that we have the ability to capture this day and age. It becomes that much more important to make decisions with. And so just an example, I've jotted down a list of different metrics you might be tracking. So we'll go down them here. So one example is how many visits are you getting to the website or on your other online content? How long are they staying on the site? How are they navigating? What's the navigation path? Are they navigating the site like you intend for them to navigate, or might there be signs of confusion as to where to buy? Maybe that's more complicated than the company thought when they initially built the design of the website. What percentage of visitors are taking actions like signing up for email lists? What percentage of customers actually purchase? And how many clicks does it take to get a customer from when they first visit the website to finally completing a purchase? And then how do you have your storefront set up, and what systems are in place to capture ratings and reviews or feedback? There's a good deal of art and science to this role, and especially nowadays it's more science, again, for the reasons that I mentioned a moment ago, where we just have so much data available to us that we can then use to make more informed decisions to eventually drive more traffic and eventually drive more sales. So if you're a very analytical person, or that's a strength of yours, or that's something you really want to deep dive into, this is going to be the role for you. And lastly, number one is marketing research director. Now, what someone does in this role is foundational to how the company ultimately makes decisions on what products they invest in, or how they go to market with a product, how they message and communicate the value of this product. And with good, proper market research, someone in this role can best identify what the customers need, what they desire, and what other competitors in the market look like. What are they offering? Can we do something better? It is often the case that for some companies, to one degree or another, they design and build a product that ends up failing because they think that what they built is what the customer wants, and may not actually end up being the case. Good market research might have indicated that there's not a lot of demand for this product, or a product with these features, or there's really not a pain point that it's solving, or there are other alternatives in the market that are far less expensive that meets that need enough, and there's no reason for those customers to spend a lot more money on perhaps whatever you brought to market. So market research can serve a company well in the sense that it can maximize or help a company maximize their efforts in how they decide to allocate resources to developing certain products or certain offerings, and eventually how they market them. But it can also help them save money and potentially prevent them from going too far down a path in the development of a product or service for something that's not going to yield good value for customers or the company. Now, as you might imagine, this is another analytical role. And on top of some of the research that you'll be doing that includes more anecdotal research, it includes maybe focus groups, if you're familiar with those, where you go in a few layers deep with a customer to really understand what they're wanting, what their pain points are, and you can peel back the onion, so to speak. But that's going to be a complement to a lot of the other work that you're going to be doing, which is to collect a much larger sample size of the market and collect it in such a way that you get a good representation of what the broader market is looking for or what their pain points are. And in turn, you want to develop a product that solves those pain points or meets whatever needs that the customer has. And from all the data you collect, you'll have some insights that you then will disseminate to the rest of the company in some form or fashion, because everyone will be able to make use of that data when coming up with products and services. And they want to do so in such a way that it, of course, gives value to the customer, but it's also something that's financially viable for the company so that it is, of course, profitable and they can reinvest in the company for even better solutions in the future. So folks, I hope that helps out. And one thing I do want to bring up is that there are many more marketing roles out there. This is a very small subset. If there's any one good thing about the marketing field is that, again, there are many career paths you can take. And as far as salary goes, that's also a pretty broad range in reality. Like I mentioned, there are many factors that contribute to a salary one would get in any one of these roles. So it has something for everybody. If you're an analytical wizard, then there's a place for you in marketing. If you're more the creative type and more design focused person, there's a role for you in marketing as well. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these roles, if they're interesting to you, or if you are in one of these roles yourself and want to give a little bit of perspective, your 2 cents, or if you simply have any questions about any one of these roles and want me to go into a little bit more detail, I am more than happy to do that as well. Again, leave a comment down below. So with that said, thank you for watching and I'll see you around.